And we're gonna start with our onions and our green onions. Because I just need to go ahead and get some vegetables prepped, and that way I know what I'm doing. We have shallots as well. But y'all, I'm so glad. Check this out. I thought the skin of the rutabaga would be too tough. Yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I thought it would be too tough to cut with a vegetable peeler, y'all. A vegetable peeler does wonders. Look at that coming right off. Because I do want to go ahead and put my rutabagas in some water, especially now that my ham hock is finished. I want to get these on the stove, honey. I'm not going to eat them until tomorrow, but they'll taste just that much better on tomorrow when those flavors have settled in. I only bought 3 because I'll be the only one eating them. But I want to make them just like I want them so that I can thoroughly enjoy them. Hey, y'all, check this out. The ham hock is now done, but I wanted to show y'all my new pot. This is my new Calphalon pot. It is so neat the way it's made. See, it still has the plastic on. I'm going to cut it. But I've been waiting. I've had this pot for about 3 months now, and I've been waiting for the perfect thing to cook in it. See, it's almost like a small and deep Dutch oven. You could fry in this thing. This could go inside the oven. I'm about to wash it off, but this is the lid. Look how neat the lid is. And it just sits on top like this. And this Calphalon. Isn't that beautiful? Let me wash this off, and then I'm going to show y'all the ham hock because the Instapot is ready. See, now it says okay to open lid. So all I have to do is twist it. Y'all see it? Ooh, there's that ham hock. And that's what we're going to cook with our rutabaga. All right, y'all. So I have all of the rutabaga peeled here. And at this point, we're just going to rinse them off and put them in the pot with our ham hock, y'all. Much like a turnip bottom, the rutabaga does not take long to get tender, especially when appropriately sliced. So you would want to cook your meat beforehand. If you don't use the Instapot, you would just put that ham hock in the boiler with water and boil it until it becomes fork tender. After it becomes fork tender, just as mine has become in the Instapot, you would then add in your rutabaga, as you will see me do here shortly. They have, all kind of ways online to prepare them, but this is really just supposed to be the vegetable peeled and cleaned and then boiled with, in most cases, pork, like ham or something like that. So that's why I said traditionally you doing with bacon, the bacon fat and then bacon. But they're just like turnip bottoms, y'all. Cousin to the turnip. Okay. I'm cutting them about as thick as you would cut yams. I know I should have a bigger knife, but I'm already at it. I see people cut it in cubes. I'd rather it be sliced. So it's very, very, very hard. But once you get them cut up, you're ready to go. All right, y'all. So I only have one left to cut, and I decided to come back so you can see how I cut the whole thing. I started at the end of it. I can see why people cut it in cubes because cubes are definitely easier. But you want, well, I know mine. I like my rutabaga to have some thickness to it. So I would say I'm cutting about a 1/2 inch, or at least I'm trying to. And then see you get down to the end and it's kind of oddly shaped, but for me, you just keep cutting them in steaks until you can't cut them like that anymore. I probably can get one more steak out of this. I'll get the knife halfway inserted and then put my hand on top. Let's see, now I got that. So now that I'm at the bottom, y'all, I'm going to split it in half like that. And then I can do the moon shape. Get all your rutabaga, honey. All right, let's put it in the pot. Make sure y'all can see over in the pot. Kind of like turnips. You're going to season them just like you would if you were cooking turnips. Since I have shallot, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and put a little shallot in it as well. I don't know if you are used to cooking with the shallot or not. The shallots are so delicious. And they really do give your food a different flavor. Different from onions. So if you ever see a shallot in the store, just try it. And mainly for meals that, just say if you have a meat, a roast, or whole roasted chicken, and you're not using a lot of water. You just want to put like a vegetable medley or an onion and pepper medley on the top. Try shallots then if you've never had them. Make sure you try them in a recipe where it's not watered down, but maybe like roasted on with your meat. And that way you can really appreciate the different flavor profile that it has. I mean, it's still in the onion family, true enough, but it's just good. See there? And I'm going to just crumble it over the top of this. That's all I'm going to do is that half. I could do this other half, but I don't think so. That's plenty. Okay, y'all, let's season the pot. I know I want pink Himalayan salt. And maybe do some body of complete. Not too much of this. I really, really want to taste the rutabaga. But it's for the sake of having some herbs in there, we'll do the body. And then, of course, the pink Himalayan. It don't seem like a lot, y'all, because I'm grinding it, but it's not. The other thing I'm going to add is sugar. Just like with turnips, it has a little bit of tartness to it. So you just put enough sugar in there, not to make it sweet, but to balance out the tartness. So I'm probably going to do, this is 1 tablespoon. And then I'll probably do half. And once that sugar cooks down with that pork fat, oh my goodness, y'all, it's going to be good. When I build from the ground up, I cannot wait to have a 10-foot counter. Cause I got a good bit of counter space here, but it's still not enough. Remember, we've already put the fresh ham hock at the bottom of the rutabaga. This is the pot liquor that cooked from the ham hock. So we're going to boil the rutabaga in the ham hock pot liquor. I'm just gonna pour this over in here so you can see it. I was gonna ladle it, but really no sense in that. So this is the pot liquor out the Instapot from the ham hock. I'm pouring it directly over it. Ooh, y'all. Now y'all tell me these rutabagas ain't gonna be the bone. The ham hock is at the bottom. Ooh! Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Gonna add a little more because we're not using the water from the pot anyway. We just don't want all our liquid to cook out. So I have it nearly full. So let me show you. This is what it looks like on the stove. That pot is adorable. I'm gonna let it come to a boil first, but see, this is the top. Look at her. It's so cute, Calphalon. But I'm gonna leave this off until it comes to a boil first, y'all. But that's our rutabaga. When you see it again, honey, I'll be tasting it. I'll be eating it, honey. Let's move on now. Okay, I have my garlic now, as well as I'm gonna use the other half of this shallot for my oxtail. I've had it for over a week now, but just hadn't uploaded it yet because I hadn't had the chance to edit it. Baby, use every bit of that shallot because, y'all, these things are expensive. So you put your seasoning on your oxtails first. Your clean oxtail. Your clean oxtail. You know, we soak it in vinegar and salt and warm water. We let it soak. And then we rinse our meat off and go back in with your seasonings. Seasonings and vegetables. The vegetables also act as seasoning. Yeah, this bull does not want to come loose. My God. And the one I was pulling on trying to get it loose, that still wasn't the one that came loose. I'm gonna break down some garlic, y'all. Hard-headed garlic. Hard-headed. And because it's going in the oxtail, I don't have to cut it up too fine. Okay, I'm gonna finish breaking this down, then this ought to be plenty. All right, y'all, so we got the garlic, and I'm just gonna, of course, it doesn't have to be any certain way because it's just going in here as seasoning. So at this point, we have green onion, we have white onion, we have garlic, and then here are the shallots. Okay. We're just going to keep mixing. Now, if you have any form of wet marinade you want to put on there, you can do that at this point as well because this is the marinade stage. Okay, so the secret here is more about technique than ingredient. You have so many ways you can prepare oxtail. You have curry oxtail, you have jerk oxtail, you have smothered oxtail, you have Caribbean style where they braise the oxtail in brown sugar first. The main thing here is to use the seasonings of your choice. If you have both wet and dry, make sure you incorporate both on the cleaned oxtail when you go in with these fresh aromatics, your onion, your ginger, your garlic, because the seasoning, both wet and dry, in addition to the fresh vegetables, is what serves as the marinade. Once you have it on there, you massage it in like you saw me doing. You have to let this sit for at least 3 hours in order for the flavors to really develop and penetrate this meat. And it's preferable if you could do this the night before, because I always let mine sit in the refrigerator for 24 hours. Having said that, once you refrigerate the oxtails with the marinade and you bring them out before you start to cook them, before you go to the next step, you want to let the temperature rise on the oxtails a bit. You don't want to put them in the pan or try to sear them when they're still refrigerator cold. So I would say for at least about anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 30, depending on how many oxtails you have. But the point is, don't try to brown and sear them while they're ice cold. The Kinder's Prime Steak Seasoning, I am going to use this on the oxtails, but I don't want this seasoning deep down in the meat. I want this more or less to use a little bit to flavor the pot once the oxtails are halfway done. Okay, so it just really makes a difference. Sometimes there are certain flavors that you don't want down in the meat, but you want there to be a trace of that flavor, in other words, if that makes sense. So that's why we don't use the Kinders, or I'm choosing not to use the Kinders until these are halfway through. All right, y'all. So we have the oxtails. We have them put in the refrigerator and they are marinating until tomorrow. Remember, I decided to put them in the Instapot. So, many people just put their oxtails straight in the oven. Actually, you know what I may have to do? If I'm going to brown them, which I really do like to brown them, I considered that for a second because I was running short on time, but I couldn't. I decided I was going to take the time to brown the oxtails anyway, so you will see that portion shortly. Check out the rutabagas. Y'all, here's the rutabaga. Let me zoom in so you can see when I take the top off. Ooh, and I like this Calphalon. The top is not even hot. The handle's on. But can y'all see it? Oh, yes. Now, they're already what we call fork tender. They're already what you call fork tender. Look at that ham hock. The ham hock is breaking down, honey. Let me zoom you back out so you can really see what's going on here. There you go, y'all. See the shallots? Now, remember I told you to cook it halfway through or 3/4 of the way through, and then you want to taste the pot liquor. So that's what I'm going to do right now. We're just going to taste the pot liquor and see what seasons we need to add, which ones we don't need to add, if it's missing anything. I made sure I didn't add too much salt because you have the salt that's in the pot liquor. Baby, y'all listen. Oh, my God, today. The ham hock hits different. The ham hock is different than that bacon, y'all. It is different. I can taste the freshness of that ham. People use cured pork. I don't like cured pork because, number one, you already have so much salt in it, and it doesn't give you room to season your own food the way you need to when it's cured. So I like to use fresh pork. You can taste the fresh ham hock in there. And of course you can. I'm literally boiling it in the ham hock pot liquor. Y'all, it's good. It has enough sweetness. It doesn't taste sweet, but you can't taste any bitterness from the rutabaga. It just has a hint of sweetness. Just enough to balance it out. It is good. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited. My goodness. That makes me wish I had more rutabaga. Because I really wanted enough to last me throughout next week. You know, we're going to cheat tomorrow for Easter. We're gonna cheat. But I was wishing I had enough to last me to next week. Ooh, y'all look at these rutabagas. Ooh, wee. Ooh. Ooh, wee, hun. Look at that pot liquor there. Oh, yes. Y'all. Oh, my God. Y'all, and the texture of rutabagas is just like butter. Look at that ham hock. Ooh. Ooh. My God, today. That's what this pot tastes like, honey, right there. Y'all, if you never use fresh ham hocks, try it. Now, let me taste it, honey. Let me taste it. Ooh. Ooh, wee, y'all. Come over by the light. Let the church say amen. That's rutabaga, y'all. Cousin to a turnip bottom. Delicious. Hardest thing about them is peeling them. Once you cut them down, render some bacon or use a ham hock, something like that, and boil them. Salt and pepper. And a little onion. God is good, y'all. Yes! Okay, I just want y'all to see in the time it took me to dust these and tell you about it, this Instapot got hot. That's what your saute feature does on your Instapot. So if you were like me and you never used it before, you only used it to pressure cook, check out the rest of the settings, y'all. They really work. So I can do a roast. I can do anything in Instapot. Be careful, as you can see, it's popping a little bit, honey. It's popping. Okay, as you can see, I have removed the oxtails from the marinade. You need to make sure that you remove the vegetables. Do not try and brown your oxtails with the vegetables still on them. So you completely remove your oxtails from your marinade, leave the vegetables and the seasoning in the bowl behind, and you're going to incorporate your vegetables back in with the oxtails once you start to add your broth or your water. Okay, y'all, so they are browning off. And when I say brown, y'all, you don't have to get them dark. You're literally just frying them a little bit. See how that looks? Grab it differently so you can see more of it. But you're just frying. Just getting a nice little fry on it. And you're going to turn each one of them over. You're going to brown them on both sides. Now, when you have those big, thick cut oxtails, then you probably want to do them around the perimeter of the oxtail as well. At this point, we're going to remove the oxtails and start on the next ones because we got to get all of them browned off. Now, honestly, you could skip this step like I was talking about doing, but I would definitely add a flour slurry to the pot. You want to thicken up your pot liquor that's going to come from this. So you need to incorporate flour into the pot if you're not going to brown your oxtails. Okay. This does take a little bit of time, but it's so worth it because anytime you brown something, I think I was telling y'all in another video as well, anytime you brown something like a pot roast or anything like that prior to cooking it, then it is going to give you a more in-depth flavor from those browned and caramelized bits. Okay, that flavor is going to penetrate the entire pot. So right now, y'all, I'm just putting some more oxtails in the flour. And we're going to go in and do the same thing we did before. Put it on your flour. Technically, I could shake this around, but for the sake of demonstration, flip all of them over. Just make sure each side gets some flour. And then you're going to take it to the oil, honey. Take it to the oil. I put more oil in the pot. That's the thing. Your oil is going to soak up. So make sure you replenish your oil. It's not, you don't need too much because you know oxtails have plenty of marble in them and on them. So you don't need too much oil. You just want to have enough down there where your flour does not start to burn. Because basically the flour that's at the bottom of that pot, that's what's going to help thicken your gravy. Whether you're doing this on the stove top or in the Instapot, y'all, what I'm saying is applicable. Okay? Same principle. So I haven't completely filled my pan yet, so I'm just going in with a few more. You don't have to worry about smothering the pan, the thing, to make sure that they're not overlapping. Because you want everything to have the opportunity to get brown. That's what's important. Okay, I wanted to give y'all an overhead shot and show you what the pot looks like. See how those brown bits are accumulating? So after every time I fill the pan with oxtails, I have to add more oil. But those brown bits, y'all, that is flavor. It's just like when you're making homemade gravy. You always leave the remnants behind, and that's what's going to flavor your gravy. And then just to show you what they look like browned, this is what I mean. This is what they look like. Okay, so we have the last few to add in here. And then we are going to be good to go. Just have a few more small ones. Y'all love the small ones. I love to put the small ones in my mouth, honey, and just suck on the bone. Wiggle it around in my mouth until all that meat is gone. And then spit that bone out. Yes, indeed, honey. Oxtails. Good old southern country eating. But there's your overhead shot. I'm going to let them stay and sit in one place. You don't stir them around. You let them sit because you're trying to brown it on that particular side. You flip it over. And then we are going to put all of our oxtails back in the pot and fill it with our broth. Y'all, this smells wonderful. Wonderful. Okay? So we're ready to go in now. We don't even have to pull these. We'll leave these in there. And then return all of the oxtails back to the pot. Now keep in mind, I'm using the Instapot. All the Instapot does is make it get done faster. If you were doing them on the stove top, as far as these techniques that I'm reviewing with you, what I told you at the first part of the video about putting the vegetables and the seasonings on your oxtails and letting them soak overnight whenever possible, because those vegetables acts as a marinade. You're going to do that, and then this browning part as well. You should do this regardless of what seasonings you like, whatever the case may be. So see, we're going in there with that. And then this little flour that I have left over, I have onions and all that in there. I'm just going to put that on top. If I want to add some more seasonings, I will add it at this point. And all we're going to do is make sure that we give our pot a good stir. We don't want any clumped up flour, but that's not even really enough to clump up on us. But Just get those oxtails a good stir. Again, on the stove top, you can do the exact same thing. Make sure everything is good and mixed together. Then, all of my vegetables. Baby, you think we're going to leave those out? Oh, no. You know, they were with the meat when it was raw. It's perfectly fine because they're going in the pot to cook. Okay? So that's all your goodness. That's part of your seasoning. Put that on there and then let's get our broth. Okay, y'all. So we got everything back in our veggies. If I wanted to put some more fresh onion in here, I could. But I'm going to leave it just like this. Forgive the noise, y'all. Trying to get that off. Put it in there just like that. And I am going to go in with some ooey KG. I know that my seasoning, this is our house-made artisan seasoning. I know that it doesn't contain much salt at all. And the salt that is in there is pink Himalayan. So just to make sure that once I add that broth, I still have a good amount of seasoning, that it still tastes seasoned. I'm going to add that. And remember, we added flour too. So that's another reason why you want a little more seasoning. And then remember I told y'all at the end I will go in with the Kinders. Now I'm not going to put a lot of this because Kinders contains pepper, and you know that's why it's a steak seasoning. You know the flavor is like really pronounced, I guess I'll say. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just depending on what you're cooking. I want oxtails is something because you have the bones of the oxtail, then you get a lot of good flavor from those bones, a lot of good beefy flavor, so that's what I want to taste. Now, as far as broth, I'll be honest, I always use chicken broth, even if it were a roast. The reason why I don't use beef broth, y'all, is because I really don't like the taste of beef broth. I really don't. I don't mind eating broth, but I don't want my food to ever taste like it's been submerged in beef broth. I just don't like the flavor of it. So I always use chicken broth, whether it's beef or chicken. Okay. Now remember, in the Instapot, once you cover it, you can't open it until that cook time you started with is done. The more you get used to it, the more you'll find yourself not having to change. I am going to add a bouillon cube as well. But you will find that you don't have to make many changes at all once you get used to cooking in the Instapot. The key is seasoning. Make sure that you have seasoning, because once your meat cooks on that high pressure, the liquid that's in the pot is what is being cooked in. So if that liquid is not adequately seasoned, I don't care how much seasoning you try to add to your food after the fact, it's not going to taste the same. Just the overhead before we put the top on. Ooh, wee, baby. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's your overhead. Beautiful. Yeah, we're going to put our top on. Get it on there straight first. Twist it, locked. And now we're going to cancel. It's telling me to open it because it's still on saute. So I'm going to cancel the saute mode. And I'm going to go to pressure cook. And I want it on 1 hour for beef. See, now my beef is blinking. So I'm going to push the button. And now I can adjust the time up to 1 hour. Push the button again. And high is blinking. I want it on high pressure. And now I have to press start. It preheats and then it's going to move up to cooking. The oxtails, y'all. See how it makes just a thin gravy? It's not too thick, but it's not just broth. You got enough body to put over some rice, honey. You got enough body in that gravy. See that? Okay, it's steaming up now, y'all, but it had kind of settled to the bottom. But here they are, y'all. The Instant Pot does wonders, honey. Oh, yes. Whether you have a new one or an old one, I have cooked and done videos with both. You in business. Just wanted to show y'all the last of this gravy to show you the consistency. See there? I'm adding the oxtails to the pot, to the pan. Getting them out of this Instant Pot so I can wash it. You see that gravy? Ooh.